I read over 300 self-improvement books, and they all pretty much say the same 3 things. We're going over those lessons in this video. This is part 2.
Big idea number 1. There's a story of an old farmer. He had one horse that he used to plow his fields. That is, until one day that horse ran away into the hills. Everyone came in his village and said, "We're so sorry for your bad luck." The old man replied, "Bad luck, good luck, who knows?" A week later, that horse returned with a herd of wild horses that now belonged to the old man. His village said, "We're so happy for your good luck." To which the farmer replied, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" The next day, his only son was riding one of those wild horses. It kicked him off, he fell and broke his leg. Everyone said, "Oh, such bad luck." To which the farmer replied, "Bad luck, good luck, who knows?" The army came to the village and took all the strong-abled men to be soldiers, except only the farmer's son was spared because he can't fight with a broken leg. Everyone said, "What good luck?" To which the farmer replied, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" That story illustrates this next point. Look, let's not sugarcoat it. Sometimes life sucks. It's hard. You get laid off from a job, you lose a job, relationships that don't work out, that rip your heart out. And it's easy for these bad luck situations to really weigh on us. I was in debt 30 grand in my mom's basement, lost my podcasting gig, which was paying the bills. I didn't make much. Living with your mom, there's not many bills. And I was caught in that spiral of bad luck. But out of that motivated me to take all my skills I had learned for the last 5 years and start using them for myself, launching a YouTube channel and creating content like you're seeing now, which ended up being pretty successful. So in retrospect, getting fired from that job was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It was good luck, but at the time felt like bad luck. One of the common themes in all of self-improvement is that you're not in control of what happens to you, but you're always in control of how you respond. And I'm not saying this makes any of the hardship easier, but one frame that has really served me is this. Are you being punished or are you being prepared? You got broken up with. Is it a breakup? Or can you use it as a breakthrough to get to the next level, prove yourself, and attract someone better? Perhaps the best self-improvement term that all these books talk about is becoming anti-fragile. If you're an Amazon Prime package that got to you in 2 days, written on it, "Do you have fragile? Handle with care." Please don't bounce me around because I'll break. I'm fragile. Just like my ego. What'd she say about me? Are you serious? Jokes, jokes, jokes. Or is what inside you anti-fragile? Doesn't matter how much they bounce you around. So you got enough strength to where you're not gonna break. So whatever you're going through, in the weeds of it, it can feel like you're being punished. Challenges, failures, breakdowns, sometimes they're on a path to a breakthrough that's going to make you anti-fragile. After all, good luck, bad luck, who knows?
Big idea number 2. Here's a study that always makes me go bananas. Like all the good ones, it involves some monkeys in a cage. So scientists put some fruit on top of a ladder. If a monkey tried to climb up and grab the fruit, all the rest of the monkeys in his cage got sprayed with an ice bath. They got Wim Hof, except they didn't like it. It didn't take long for the group of monkeys to learn, climbing the ladder to get the fruit. Everyone gets sprayed with water, so they started beating any monkey that tried to get the fruit on top. The researchers started replacing these monkeys one by one. But after a few monkey beatdowns, the new ones learned the rules. Here's where it gets really good. Eventually, all the monkeys in the cage were replaced, and the researchers stopped spraying water altogether, meaning the fruit was up for grabs. Literally any of them could take it and eat it. Except it didn't matter. All the monkeys still followed the passed down beliefs, rules, and none of them had a free lunch. The formal conclusion of that study would be something along the lines of, this experiment shows that cultural behavior can persist and be passed down. And hey, that's true. We pass down beliefs through culture to culture, parents to you, but we also pass down some of the worst advice in the world. It's very common. You know what that is? Be realistic. Let's talk about someone who's insanely unrealistic. He revolutionized 6 different industries, including digital animation, computing, music, the cloud, retail, and music players. And there's a good chance you might even be watching this on one of his inventions. You guessed it, Steve Jobs. The reason he was able to get so much done despite depending on who you talk to, not having much skill of his own, wasn't an engineer, wasn't a formal artist, dropped out of college shortly after going there, was because he was so unrealistic. His philosophy that got passed down, like the monkeys passing down their traditions, rules, cultures, norms, summed up in 2 words: think different. His commencement speech shortly before his death, he's famously quoted for saying that, "Remember that the world was built by people no smarter than you." Echoing his philosophy is in one of the most famous commercials by Apple: "The people crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." The most dangerous 2 words are be realistic. Some of the most powerful 2 words that'll unlock everything for you: think different. Think different is good advice, but how do we apply it? Well, here's 2 questions I pulled from some of the books that have really served me well. The first one is probably the most powerful thing you can do. It's called zero-based thinking. Asking yourself the question, if I could start over today, would I still be doing blank? The second question, what would I do if I knew I could not fail? You'd be surprised that 90% of the time how you know what to do, you might just have too much resistance, or you might be too afraid to do it. So use zero-based thinking. Think differently. Don't be the monkeys in the cage saying, this is the way it's always been done.
Big idea number 3, I have a confession to make. Despite living on a golf course, I am terrible at golf, but I want to use it as an analogy to illustrate a point all these books talk about in some form. Let's just say we're in a group of friends and we decide to go golfing. We're like, you know what, to make this a little more fun, like the degenerates we are, let's bet a little bit. You know, just something to make it a little more exciting, something to spice it up a bit. So we agree on 10 cents a hole. Then we're adding it up and we say that's only $1.80, so I know, let's make it more fun. Let's double it every single hole. We just made one of the biggest bets of our life. Here's what that looks like. Hole number 1, 10 cents. Hole number 2, 20 cents. Hole number 3, 40 cents. By hole number 9, we're at $25. That's not that bad. 25 bucks, how bad can this get? Hole number 12 is $204. Hole number 16 is $3,726. And by the time we get to the 18th hole, $13,107. If you're like, Clark, that's a typical Saturday. We okay, dude? Kind of worried about you. That illustrates the power of a concept you might have heard of: compounding. Finances aren't the only thing that compounds. Everything in life compounds. Things can compound for the worse. The real effects of drinking don't really happen the first time you do it, second time, but it's a decade later, 2 decades later, 3 decades later compounded. Likewise, the effects of being antisocial and isolating yourself, you won't see, but 10, 20, 30 years down the road, you will. How's that for an uplifting video? The good news is the positive in your life also compounds. Habits, relationships, self-growth that you do. The real results of you investing in your family, your close relationships, your friendships, you start to see as you build relationships with people, they get better. 5 years down the road, you got some real cool people around you. As James Clear put it in his brilliant book, Atomic Habits, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. So what's the point of self-improvement anyway? What's the point of reading 20 books, 300 books? You start to link concepts and it causes you to think differently. If you're able to think differently, you have the potential to act differently. And if you act differently, you have different results start showing up in your life. And before you know it, what's in here actually changes what's out there. If you're changing enough out there, eventually you compound that out and your life will look pretty darn different. The real result of getting your mindset right, getting your habits right, getting your life straightened out, you might see in the first year, but the real awesome results are gonna happen 5, 10 years, 20 years down the road. You'll have a life that others can't at that time because you did things that others won't. And in that way, I think investing in yourself through time, through reading, through accumulating knowledge, pays some of the best dividends. So if you're brutally honest, look at your last 90 days and just compound that out for the next 5 years. 10 years, 20 years. Could be the difference metaphorically between what you think is a little 10-cent bet, what's actually a big $13,000 decision.
If you're still watching this, a question on your mind is, which one of these 300 books would I recommend for you? So I made a video for you on just that. I'll link right here. It's the 5 books I'd recommend you read this year. I'll see you in that video.